Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. In this tutorial we're going to be making this fall floral and leopard print tumbler. We are starting out with a 32 plump from the Steel Magnolia. I did attempt trying to spray paint an ombre and it ended up being a hot mess, but I did use a Kona spray paint from Rust-Oleum, which was the culprit of the hot mess, and then the My Color Shot root beer. Those were the two colors I used, and then I am taking my COLORFLEX glitter glue and just applying a generous coat with a makeup brush. This glitter glue is a little on the thicker side, so it does have a longer dry time, and I really like that, especially when working with multiple color glitters. I can get my ombres complete before it starts drying up in areas, and I don't have to go over with a second coat because it really does grab a hold of the glitter. I am using Maple from PDB Creative Studio and Slate from COLORFLEX. We are going to first take Slate around the top and bottom rims of this tumbler. I'm going heavy around the bottom, and then I'm going to hold my cup at an angle and allow that glitter to fall down to the center of the tumbler. I don't want the top and bottom waterfalls of glitter to touch in the center, but I almost want them there because I really want to get these colors blended together really well. I just took the bottom of the cup and dabbed it into the glitter to make sure that we had good coverage on the bottom. I tapped off all that excess, and then we're going in with Maple from PDB Creative Studio. This combination of colors really caught me off guard. I don't know exactly what I was expecting because I did pick two colors that I thought would coordinate together, but sometimes you have to see the glitters outside of the bottles to get their true colors and beauty, and these two just completely wowed me. I allowed that to dry for 2 hours, sealed it twice with Color Shot Matte Clear Coat, and then gave it 2 coats of epoxy so it would be nice and smooth for our decals. I am using a sheet of Floral Decals from Gracefully Created. This was not my original plan at all for this tumbler. I actually wanted to do quite a bit of vinyl work on this one, and then once I saw that ombre, I could not cover it up. I looked over to my side, I had this sheet of florals, and I was like, you know what? These are going on here because that is a perfect match. Having no plan in mind at all for this tumbler, I just grabbed this decal sheet and started adding them on. I had no clue where I wanted to put them, and I repositioned them 100 times. Thank goodness that this vinyl is removable. So I'll let this play through so you can see where I position them and reposition them on the tumbler. And actually in the end I ended up not liking the position of the flowers, but was tired of moving them around, so I was like, whatever, we're gonna add some vinyl detail on this. Alright, so once we had those flowers on, I headed over to Creative Fabrica and downloaded this Abstract Autumn Forest clip art. I only ended up using 2 of the images from that bundle and made them 2 inches wide each, and then just duplicated the images so I had 6 of them all together. Now, if you have a Creative Fabrica subscription, this file would have been free to download. If you don't have one, I do have a link down below for you to sign up for Creative Fabrica for just $1 for your first month. You get access to millions of files. It is my absolute favorite creator platform. There are just endless files available. You can also get things like Lightroom presets and cut files for woodworking, signs, and tons of other things, so definitely check that out. I cut these images out on my favorite TeckWrapcraft textured metallic vinyl. This stuff is incredible, and if you have it from TeckWrapcraft, it is super thin versus others that I have used, so it weeds a whole lot better and it's a lot easier to cut and work with. Since the detail on these was so super fine, I just cut around the image and then applied that to the tumbler and pretty much just reverse weeded it off of the tumbler. Again, there wasn't any plan for any of this, and I just placed them in areas that did not have some florals to fill in that negative space and went with it. even after adding on the stencils, I still felt like it needed a little something extra, so I went back to Creative Fabrica and downloaded this Heart Leopard file. I imported it over into Design Space, and it does come in layers, so I just right-clicked over on the right column and deleted the 2 background images, which would have been the pink and the center of our leopard spots, and resized the whole thing to about 8.5 inches. Now we are going to use Shape Tape from Artistry, which is a double-sided adhesive tape. So I'm going to cut this on my iron-on setting. The reason I'm cutting on such a heavy setting is because I want it to cut through the first 2 layers of this sheet. I did do a burst tutorial using the Shape Tape in the past, so if you want to know how to use a full sheet of this, then definitely go check out that tutorial. But for this one, we are just doing spots. It is super sticky, so we could have put glitter on these spots and did just a different glitter color. You can use it to apply fulls, or what we are doing is applying full flakes. There's so many possibilities because this stuff does work so well, but we are just going to cut out some random shape spots. I don't want them to look uniform. I just want them random on the tumbler and in random shapes. And since we are using full flakes, I'm going to put down a few sheets of printer paper. You can also use parchment paper. Just use something that creates a barrier between your tumbler and whatever table you are working on, because they are super messy. So I had grabbed the TeckWrapcraft textured copper vinyl, also the rose gold full flakes from COLORFLEX. Ultimately, I ended up going with the fall full flakes from PDB Creative Studio. There's a lot of different colors mixed in all together in this full mix, and they just match the florals on this tumbler perfect. So I went with them, but I do know that it is a pretty high demand item right now since we are starting on fall projects. So I wanted to give you a couple other options that would look really well on this design. So after we apply our Shape Tape leopard spots, I'm just going to dump the full fragments on top of those spots and rub them in with my finger and allow the fulls just to fall in place naturally. It did take me a hot minute to figure out the best way to apply these spots to the tumbler, so I'm not having to apply them individually. So I will show you that here in just a moment, but I did just randomly put them around the tumbler, even overlapping the designs that we already had on there. And I did forget to mention, before you apply your fulls to your tumbler, or if you decide to cover these spots with glitter, make sure you apply a layer of matte clear spray paint to this before you start adding on any glitter or full fragments. If you don't, then your glitter or your full fragments, whichever you choose to use, will stick to your tumbler and it will be a complete pain to get them off. Okay, so after I tried a bunch of different methods on how to apply these spots to the tumbler or remove the backing from them, I'm going to zoom in and show you how I do it. So I removed the inside of the spots first, and then I took the top 2 layers, which is the protective layer and that sticky, and removed it from around the leopard spots. I then took some transfer tape and put that on top and used my squeegee tool to remove the protective layer on the back, leaving the spots on the transfer tape. I then took that and pressed it down on the tumbler. You want to press these down really well to make sure that they're adhered and that your transfer tape is stuck to the protective layer on top of your spots. Just rip that off and it will pull all of that transfer, or the protective layer rather, off of your spots. When you use any sort of double-sided adhesive tape, you have to remember that you are putting something on a porous surface, which would be the double-sided sticky tape. So you're going to want to seal that in to prevent your epoxy from seeping through either your glitter, your fools, whatever you choose to use, and seal that in so your epoxy does not seep through and cause micro bubbles. One way to do that is to spray with a clear spray paint, or you can use Quick Seal from Artistry, which is a really thin polyurethane coating. It just really seals everything in. You can put it on top of a sanded surface, which is helpful to me because I use a lot of printable vinyl. Allow it to dry, and then you are free to go in with epoxy and have no worries of micro bubbles or your fine vinyl detail lifting on your projects. For this to be a design that I just completely winged and did not have planned out, I really love how it turned out. I love all of the deep fall tones. It makes me think of like a patina in the leopard print from using the fools. I mean, it just all come together so beautifully in the end. And I hope that y'all love it as well, or can at least take something from this tutorial and create your own design. As always, all of the materials that I used will be listed down in the description below, along with some coupon codes for you. Don't forget to give this tutorial a thumbs up if you loved it, and subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell in the corner to be notified anytime a new tutorial drops. Thank you all so much, and we will see you next time.